I was younger, I always worried about finding my purpose, finding my meaning, finding that one thing in my life that I would be passionate about and that I was meant to do. I have read a lot about people with meaning and purpose in their life, and I wanted that. I wanted that feeling, I wanted that experience, and I used to search for it and wonder what my purpose in life is. So today, on the 21st of December, I thought I would share with you what I have learned about meaning and purpose and where my search for meaning has led me. As I was saying before, I have always had this at the back of my mind. What's my meaning? What am I passionate about? What am I good at? What am I supposed to do in this world? And when I was younger, I did not have a specific thing that I was good at like many people do. Many people find out what they're good at when they're younger. And I didn't have that specific thing. I had many areas of interest, and it wasn't like I was the best at any of them. I liked writing, I liked creative things. I was also good at organizing and planning, but I never could figure out where all my interests would overlap and where I could find my meaning and purpose in life. And I remember being absolutely panicked about not finding my purpose. I was at a time very worried that I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have anything that was meant to be mine, that there was nothing in this world that I could offer to it, and I was really panicked and I didn't know what to do. And I kept reading a lot of articles or books on finding your purpose, and all of them would say this one thing, and that was try everything. Like, you need to do something in order to find your purpose. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do something on the creative side? Am I supposed to do something new that I haven't tried before? And I just was so confused. So I'm sharing this so that if you are on that journey of trying to search for your meaning or find your purpose, that these tips that I learned would help you and make your process a little easier. It's not going to make it completely simple, it's not going to make it straightforward, because as I said, that all of us have to go through this journey, through this path. Some of us reach it faster, some of us don't. Some of us are able to see it clearly, some of us can't. And some of us take a little while to find our ground, and that's okay as long as you're still on that path, and the path might be different for all of you. But these tips will probably help you a little bit to see your life in a different way, to see your meaning and your search for meaning in a different way. And I know a lot about what I've been talking about in December Diaries has been about changing your perspective, changing your mindset, thinking about things in a different way. And this is again a lot about thinking of things in a different way. But I believe that everything begins with your mindset, everything begins with your mind. And if we learn that one small tidbit about ourselves, that everything in our life begins with our mind, we can conquer our mind and we can conquer anything. So the first thing that I learned about searching for my purpose was that your purpose or my purpose was wherever I was. And this understanding took me a while, but then I realized that wherever I was, I had to just do things in that place. So no matter where you are, wherever you are is where your purpose begins. And so you don't have to go on a long journey, you don't have to go to another country, you don't have to get out of your city just to find your purpose. You can find your purpose wherever you are. So if you are in a job, if you are working somewhere, if you are studying somewhere, if you are living somewhere, if you are doing something, your purpose is within that area. And when you realize that, you start paying more attention to what you're doing, and you start trying to find meaning in what you're doing, and it can manifest itself in so many ways. For example, just off the top of my head, if you currently are not satisfied with the job that you're doing, if you just go to work 9 to 5 and don't really think about that as your purpose, then you find your life monotonous and routine and boring, and you're looking for your purpose outside of your work, correct? But if you start thinking about your work as a purpose, that the area of your work, the place where you are, is a part of your purpose, then you go to work and you start looking at things that you can do, and you start taking initiatives that give you more satisfaction than what you're currently doing. And when you put your heart into what you're doing, when you start going in depth into what you're doing, you realize what gives you satisfaction and what doesn't, and you start taking more initiatives to do the things that do give you satisfaction, and you start enjoying your work. Now this is a very simple example, and I have seen this happen with people. So think of wherever you are as your purpose. If you have a family and you think of your family as your purpose, you will start finding a lot more meaning and a lot more joy when you give to your family, when you invest in your family, when you spend time with your family intentionally. So your purpose is something that is wherever you are, and it doesn't need to be only in your family or in your work. It can be in your locality, in your community, it can be anywhere near you. And one thing that I have realized is when you start working intentionally towards bringing that purpose into your life, when you start working intentionally towards bringing that satisfaction and contentment and fulfillment into your life, you start enjoying what you do, you start loving what you do, and you start also finding a lot more opportunities around you. So once you put in the hard work, you cannot just sit and expect purpose to arrive at your door and knock on your door and tell you, hey, I'm here, I'm your purpose, because that's not going to happen. You actually have to go out and do the work, and when you do the work, you can easily realize what makes you happy, what makes you satisfied, and what doesn't. And when you start knowing that this is what is making me satisfied, this is what I need to be doing, you get more opportunities. The universe gives you more opportunities, and doors open, and things open up, and opportunities come your way, and you can at that time easily pick and choose. And so realizing the fact that it doesn't stop with just who you are right now or just what you have right now is very important, because I think a lot of us worry, or a lot of us think that if I find my purpose in where I am right now, this is where I have to stay for the rest of my life. That is not true. And I'll read you something that I read about this, and it said, we each have a unique reason for being, which can be adjusted or transformed many times over the years. The fact that our purpose is not a static one, something that makes our journey more interesting, and it also makes us not worry about or think about the future, because my purpose can be this someday, and it evolves and transforms over time, and it is not the same for the rest of your life. So you start with whatever it is you have right now. You start with your locality, you start with your family, you start with your work, and you will find your purpose if you take that initiative to go in depth into whatever you're doing. Don't do it just superficially. Don't give it your bare minimum. Give it your heart. Even if it is something that you think you don't enjoy, just give it your heart. Put in that hard work, and you will find out what it is that you really love to do. And then life gives you opportunities to actually do those things and put your heart into something that you really, really love. When you start putting in the work, you start seeing life come together, things work together, and it is such a beautiful thing to see, because when we just sit there and think and think and think, nothing really happens, nothing materializes. But when we do something, when we put our heart into something, we see things moving that we probably couldn't have moved on our own, and things just come together in such a beautiful way, and we then realize what our life was really meant to be for. I was reading about the story about a mother who had lost a young son and had another son still living with her, and she was suicidal. She didn't want to live anymore because she felt that she didn't have any meaning in life and she didn't have a purpose in life. And when she went to a psychologist, he asked her to think about her life from her deathbed. So suppose she was dying and she looks back at her life, and he wanted her to imagine her life then. And it is in that moment that something shifted in her. It is in that moment when she looked back at her life, she looked back at her family, she looked back at the 2 sons she had and the one she still had. She realized that she had done everything possible for both of her sons, and she would continue to do everything possible for both of her sons, and that was her life's meaning. That was such a beautiful thing to read, because sometimes we don't see the meaning in our life because we're too busy looking outside our lives, we're too busy looking at other people's lives, we're too busy looking at what society explains to us as purpose and meaning. But when we look at our lives, look at the people you are influencing, look at the people you are impacting, look at the people you are investing in, whether it is your own family or it is your friends, you can see that you are making a difference in somebody's life. Like that mother who realized that she was putting in the hard work to take care of her son. She had put in the hard work to take care of the son that she lost. So that was her life's meaning. She didn't need to find any other kind of meaning in her life because that was her life's work. She needed to invest in her children's lives, and she did it. And she didn't need to look outside and try to find a purpose and meaning, because that was her primary purpose and meaning. And so it's the same for every one of us. We don't need to run around in circles looking for meaning and purpose. We need to just start putting in the work. We need to start finding purpose in the place that we are in currently. And as we do that, as we put in the work, as we go in depth into our lives and try out different things and take initiative to do different things, we'll realize that opportunities open up and we understand much more clearly what gives us meaning, what gives us a sense of purpose, and then we can just do that. And as I said, sense of purpose and meaning changes over time. It evolves over time. It's not going to be the same, and understanding that, realizing that, makes life much more interesting. That is what I had to share, because I remember the days of searching for meaning and purpose and thinking I'm never going to find it. And so if you are in a place where you want to find that satisfaction, you want to find that passion for life, you want to find that thing that you can do that makes you want to get out of bed every morning, then just try to get immersed in your life as it is right now. So take that leap, take that first step, and get involved in your life, and I promise you, you will realize what you are passionate about, you will realize what your purpose in life is, and you're not going to be left out. And so I hope that my journey, my story helped you in a little way, and I hope that this year 2019 will be a purposeful and meaningful one for all of you.